Welcome into another high school preview show. This time, Coach Rowan at Fountain Inn. What's going on, Coach?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Hey, we got Smith. Smith, you copied me with your hat. Espo, what's going on?
Coach Drew looks like he's rocking some goggles up there in that corner with this view
Clark
going on
Kent,
right now.
man.
He might kick for Georgia, or he's on the next episode of Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
Rico's his name. Rico, yeah.
He's
Rico,
one of the two.
that's
I'm
the
not
name,
sure.
boys. Hey, we're just glad to get Coach Rowan on again. This is our favorite high school preview of the year.
That's a lot of pressure. And it's early in January. So,
This is
it's been a very
the
long year.
seventh consecutive one he said was his favorite.
I know. Hey, also, before we start, I know the first couple of years you were really trying to get this thing up and going. Congrats. Obviously, you've got some type of donor because you've got Make-A-Wish kids on your show now. I think his name was the Crotch Rocket. Is that who it was? I mean, it's really great whenever you can have kids in need come on and be a part of a podcast. And so it's Drew's birthday today. So I figured we would do a little fun out. So happy. Drew, how old are you today? Tell all the people watching.
I'm 27 since I'm on a Make-A-Wish now. So, oh God,
Drew going full uni, which and the oversized full uni as well, which made it look even more so.
God Almighty! I got that same text that someone looks like a Make-A-Wish.
No. Then it has to be true. Two people have said it.
Yeah,
it's
one,
two people
don't
from
count.
the same little clique, so I don't know if it's. Oh gosh, we'll get this thing started for it gets too crazy here. Coach Rowan, let's start off and talk about last year a little bit. The guys, we know you made a deep run into the playoffs. Talk about the journey last year.
It was an absolute roller coaster. I actually started drinking alcohol-free beer because it's baseball season, and last year I felt like I drank way too much from just stress and anxiety. And so it was a roller coaster. I think you could split our season up into two parts. And so it's the beginning, the first, 16 games, and then the last 13, 14 games. And so we opened the year up, and we lost 3 or 4 one-run games. And a coach is only as good as their record in one-run games. And so that's really the only time they really dictate a game is in one-run wins or one-run losses. And we lost quite a few of those to start. Started out the season 7-8-1. And so, I would look at our assistants. I'd look at Cole West a few times and I'd say, hey, is it just me? Am I cursed? Is it because I'm doing something wrong? And I made it all about myself, which is wrong. But we were 7-8-1. We were 0-4 in the region. We lost 2 one-run games to BHP. We lost, I don't even want to talk about it really. The night that Drew came out to watch us, he didn't come watch us. He came to watch Landon pitch. And I think it was the first inning and we were down 9-0. And so if we had a clubhouse, I would have probably gone to hide in it, but we didn't have that option. And so we lost that game. We're sitting 0-4. And, it's completely uphill trying to make it into the playoffs at that point. But we get into a non-region game. I want to say it's right after we get done with our spring break tournament because Greenville County is a little bit different with their spring break. It's super early, and it's probably still going to be 40 degrees during spring break. But we just get done getting our teeth kicked in by Southside Christian in that tournament. Coming off a win against Mid-Carolina, playing Southside Christian. We lose pretty big. We're at our lowest point. I've got parents calling our administration saying, hey, this guy isn't the right one for the job. We're not getting it done. And so, we're not doing great. And we go play a non-region game on a Friday, and I'm not going to share who we're playing against. But, I'm in the dugout talking to their staff before the game for a few minutes. And I don't know if you guys – raise your hand if you're a movie guy. Any movie guys in this chat? So the Hunger Games series, the second one, whenever they have all the winners, and they're lined up on stage, and they're holding hands, and they lift them up in the air, and they cut to the game maker. And he said, let's see if they're holding hands tomorrow. It was kind of that situation, we're having a good time. Then the game starts. Well, pregame, something kind of pops off and gets the atmosphere a little more electric. So we go through the game. And we end up winning at 9-4. And so it's a great win for us. We're sitting 8-1. We go through the post-game handshake, and things pop off again during the post-game handshake. And both staffs are speaking back and forth to one another. And one of our coaches is yelling, "I'm just worried about y'all." And their coaching staff is looking at us yelling, "Hey, enjoy, sitting at home during the playoffs." And so we're sitting there, we're 0-4, and I'm like, "Oh, shit, he's probably right. We are going to probably be sitting at home during the playoffs if we don't turn it around." And, I wish I could say that's the reason our season turned around because of that. Honestly, we just started playing better. We started being a little better situationally hitting the ball. But that was game one of our 11-game win streak that kind of got us rocking. And so, we get done with that one, and we're going into Palmetto. We're 8-1, and we can't lose another region game or we're pretty much out. And so we're very fortunate that we beat them at home 3-1, and then we have to go to their place. 2-game series, and it is – I'm trying to remember the final score of that game. I want to say we won by 1. We score 6 runs in the top of the 7th. They pull their starter, thankfully, because we couldn't touch them. They pull their starter. We score 6, come back and win 8-7. And then our next series is against Southside, and I commend everything that Southside does. It's not a place that I would want to coach, but the people that do it, man, they love the game. And what they're doing for those kids, giving the opportunity to play, is amazing. And so we went to Southside, and we took both of those games. And so now we're sitting at 4-4, and we're right there where we need Powdersville and Wade to take care of Palmetto. And so I'm headed to the beach. I'm sitting there. I know the scenarios are played out in my head. If they win, we're in at least the 4, which is great. We never made the playoffs. We're in our second year as a varsity program. If they lose, we've got to beat Coach Thompson and Wren probably twice. And so I'm riding down like, all right, it's Powdersville, the eventual state champions. There's no way they lose. And so I'm the whole way down to the beach. I'm listening to the game. Well, God bless it if Palmetto didn't beat them 3-1. And so now I get to the beach, and I'm just a nervous wreck the whole time I'm at the beach. I can't enjoy it because I'm sitting there trying to think, how are we going to beat Wren twice? And so we get back. We win 3-2 games against Wren and end up locking up the 3 seed. And so we got into the playoffs, and this is where Austin will come into the story in a second. But we get into the playoffs, and we draw Woodruff to start. And I don't know if you remember last year when I was on this, you asked who you think our rival would be, and I brought up Woodruff. And I said I wasn't trying to start anything, but I really thought there was a chance because we're so local. I ended up playing Woodruff 3 times last year, and one was for a district championship. And so that was spot on, and they probably won't be our rival as much anymore because we're different regions and different classifications. But we get to Woodruff, and a funny story about Woodruff is we're told, because we went to all the basketball games. Woodruff Fountain Inn basketball games were super heated, student sections yelling at each other. And if you've been to a high school basketball game, the loudest people in the student section are always baseball players. Always. They stand up front, they got their shirts off, they're yelling at each other. And so we think it's going to be pretty heated, the game is. Well, we run around first inning, and Cole West is coaching third base for us. And so he's got to run over to their side. And so as he's jogging across their side, you hear one of their students in the student section yell and say, "Hey, coach, you might want to look for a bigger shirt." And so little did we know we would be catching strays as a coaching staff. But, we end up winning that game. We go to Crescent in the winner's bracket. We're down 4-1 to them. They pull their starter. There's a trend. Pull your starter. We have a chance. Keep your starter in. Who knows? But they pull their starter. We come back, score 4, and beat Crescent 5-4. And then we get to host the district championship. Well, unknown to me is Austin tried to come to that game. And it's really nice of him to do that and support us. And I'm doing something right now. I'm hoping it sends. Send something to Austin if he has his phone. And it's pending. You might have to accept it. But Austin was charged $8 to get into the game. And so I want to pay him back for that because it's really great that he came to watch us. And when it goes through, accept that, go buy a cookout or something. But we tried the first night to play it. We get rained out right before first pitch. And so the next night we play, we're able to win that game, win the district championship. It's a great feeling. We pulled Daniel as our opponent to start Upper State. We have to go there. And just a little plug to say thank you to Coach Randy Thompson from Wren. Daniel doesn't have visiting bullpens. And so Cole and another one of our coaches stopped by Wren High School, and he let us use his portable mound. So that was really nice of him to do. But we get there, we're in a 3-2 game in the 5th inning with Daniel, and we make a mistake defensively, and they go up 4-2, and then it's 6-2. And they're throwing McCrary, who's been their guy all year. He caught food poisoning. I don't know if this is known news now. He caught food poisoning in the Wren District Championship. Now, he's supposed to throw against them. He gets sick, and so he's not able to throw. They win in game 2 that night, and so now he's set up to throw against us. So we're down 6-2, and this is where, Payne just completely outcoaches me in the 7th inning of this game. He takes a visit, and Austin's a baseball guy. So anytime you get a visit taken, you're telling your base runners what? Watch for the pick, right? You're always telling them, hey, watch for something right here. The bases are loaded. He goes and takes a mound visit. And so they're playing first base about 4 or 5 feet behind us, and they just run a timing play, pick us off at first base. Now, it's bases loaded, no out, 6-2. Will we win that game? Who knows? We're in a really good spot in our lineup. We're in our 3-hole, and who knows, we might be able to just piece it together and make it a little more interesting. But we get picked off there, and we lose the game 6-2. And then we go and we get Blue Ridge, and we had no chance against A.J. Camerota that night. And if I can't say, I know this might be the first show, baseball community really got struck the other day with the loss of R.J. Camerota. And I want to take a chance to extend my thoughts and my prayers and all of our prayers at Fountain Inn to that family and that community, and really just bring to the forefront men's mental health and the mental health of kids. And I told our guys when it happened on Friday, I really wasn't able to talk to them because it hit me pretty hard as a coach who's around that age group. And so, I told them, I'm sorry if I haven't done a good job in the past of showing you how much I love you and how much it's not just about baseball and how much you're more than just a baseball player. And so that community is definitely in our thoughts and our prayers, and that family is as well. But AJ was really good that night, and they smoked us, and we didn't have a chance to touch him. And so that was the end of our season. It was great to get experience in Upper State because we're in our 2nd year as a varsity program. So that was amazing. And just to get to play in front of big crowds on the road, I think really will set us up for what we have coming back this year. And so I just wanted to say that about the Camerotas. I know you guys probably feel the same way, but it definitely was a tough week for the high school baseball community. But we understand it's a really difficult one for Blue Ridge.
Yeah, no question. Obviously, you wish that upon nobody. What Camerota family has to go through in the Blue Ridge community, and just the baseball community and friends and family that are associated with them. It's something terrible. And when you hear that news, your heart just sinks. And thoughts and prayers to their family and friends and everybody associated with them. So you hit it on the head with what you said. So appreciate you bringing that up. And a couple of things that kind of go off of what you said. Obviously, your program, 2 years in, right, with the varsity program, and kind of the ups and downs of the program last year, but really kind of finishing out, and making those runs again on a high note. Talk about some of those returners that are here this year into the 25 season that are going to help your crew kind of roll into next year, into this upcoming spring, and making those next steps.
Well, we are super fortunate again this year to have not lost really anyone. We've had a couple kids who decided not to come back into the program, for reasons outside of baseball. And so we wish them the best, but we haven't graduated anybody yet. This will be our first year where we graduated class. And so, we have a lot of opportunities to do some good things with what we got coming back. We've got a bunch of POs. And so in high school, if you're a PO, you're a very special person. And so we've got 5 guys that are POs for us that we think are going to have a lot of impact for us this year in some role. One of the main guys we've got coming back is Braden Passmore, and he was our big game guy last year. He did a really good job for us. Game 1 to game 30, anytime he got the ball, you knew what you were going to get from him. Super consistent, 3-4 pitch guy, just a bulldog, wanted to go out and win. And so he's going to be our big game guy again this year. We're really going to lean on him when we need him. It's early to sit here and try and slot out rotations and things because things will change. But if we were going to start tomorrow, he'd be our Monday guy. And we're in 3-game sets now, so that's going to be important. Miles Barbary is coming back. Miles is a guy who's really taken shape in his high school career. He's put on a lot of strength and size in the weight room, and he can hit the ball just about as hard as anybody, and I feel like our region and in the state for his size, pound for pound. He is a very powerful hitter, and he's grown a lot as a person and as a leader. He's one of our best leaders on our team now, which is a really great thing to see kids evolve throughout the years. And so in our situation, when we started with just freshmen, he was one of those first ones we had. And so we got to see him grow. A name that you guys know really well is Joel Irizarry. He played short for us last year. He could play 5 or 6 different spots and compete. He's going to be a rotation guy for us, pitching wise. He'll be one of those hard to order guys, but he's a super consistent player, brings a lot to our lots to the table for us as a baseball program and just as a person. Lucas Cannon is someone who is finally starting to get some recognition. He just signed to play at Concord University in West Virginia. He's going to go there with another one of our pitchers, Grayson Watson. But Lucas is a top of the order guy, very athletic, quick burst. He's going to play a lot of center field for us, and he could easily come play shortstop or second base. But I feel like with the depth we're going to have, he can really be an everyday center fielder, and he'll be one of the better outfielders in the state, just from his reads and his speed and the confidence he has playing the game. I made notes because I know if I miss them, I'm going to get a hard time from the kids, and you never want to miss any of the kids. But we've got Anderson Hayes, who our season, when it started to trickle and turn around, Anderson became a guy we could rely on the mound. Originally, our 2-guy rotation last year in our 2-game series was Braden and Joel, but Anderson stepped up and he moved into that rotation for us. And when he figured it out on the mound, our season got going. And so he's someone we're really hoping can have a big year pitching. And I wanted to have a big year offensively because he's got a really nice swing from the left side. It's just, we want him to produce so he has that opportunity. But we know for sure he's going to be a great pitcher for us. And he's got the build. When you look at him pitching, you think he could pitch for a while. You just have those left-handed pitchers that you look at mechanically, and they're smooth and they're sound, and they have an understanding for what they're doing. And so he's one of those guys. Colin Wilson, he played infield for us last year, really came on late and had a really good playoff for us, swinging the bat. We're going to get him back pitching this year. He was hurt last year, couldn't pitch. And so he's another mid-80s arm that we feel like could be a good back end for us that we didn't have last year. And so we're hoping he'll do some big things. Dominic Stopa is another. He's a junior. He's an outfielder. He plays freely. He's a very free-going guy that, is not scared to make mistakes. He's going to go as fast as he can for as long as he can. He's great in the weight room. He pushes a lot of guys in the weight room. He's got a chance to make an impact for us. Austin Holtze. Austin was at that game last year against Malden. We won on a walk-off home run, and Austin was the kid that hit it. He's a junior. We're trying to find a place for him to live in the field, but right now his bat keeps him in the lineup, which in high school sports, if you can hit, you can play. And so he's going to be one of those guys that is in our lineup every day because of how he swings it. And so we're excited about him. Nick Sadler is a senior. He'll play first base, and he'll have a chance to he'll compete for a spot at first base. All these guys are competing for spots because I know they're watching it. And if I say they're starting, then they'll just go lackadaisical. But they're all competing for a starting spot. And Nick's a guy that's going to compete for a spot at first base. Really great right-handed bat. We got 2 catchers that'll compete for the majority of the innings, and that's Mason Guion and Dee Suber. Really good high school level catchers. And then a guy last year who kind of plugged and played in different spots was Daniel Rentz. He did a great job for us, just as a situational hitter, so he's got a chance to get some innings as well. But I'm sure I'm missing guys. We've got Bo Barbary and Colin Wampler will be left-handed pitchers for us. There'll be some situational guys, and then I mentioned Grayson Watson. But we've got a lot of really good guys, and if I didn't mention them, there's a chance that they'll compete and have a say in what happens this year.
Coach, we've been around seeing Fountain Inn several times, and you mentioned, I think you mentioned everybody that probably played on your varsity team last year. Who do you have that maybe nobody knows about that we haven't seen yet Is there anybody you think might step in and play a role this year that we don't know yet, that we haven't seen in the last couple
So
of years?
you asked me this question last year, and I gave you a name. And then 2 weeks later, he had a season-ending injury. So I'm hesitant to tell you any more names because, history shows that they get hurt. But no, there is a kid that definitely has a chance to come in and contribute. And his name is Carter Kelly. He's a sophomore. He was hurt last year, didn't get to play for any of our levels. But he is a smooth defender with a really pretty left-handed swing. And the conversations we've had in the past is if he can figure it out in the weight room to where we feel like he can go compete in a good region offensively against velocity, he has a chance. And so, I'm excited to see how that pans out this year. We don't have many lefties in our lineup. With Anderson, if he's in the lineup, that's one. And then it's a nightmare matchup when you have 8 righties against a good right-handed arm with a breaking ball. And so trying to offset that, it's good to have some options from the left-handed side. And so Carter's a kid that we think could and have an opportunity to play his way into some scrimmages and some at-bats there and see what he can do. But from watching him play, he definitely has a chance to help us out. Can I mention one more? Sorry, you're about to unmute. Luke Tanner. Luke Tanner is a kid that's coming up from our JV. He's another submarine righty, and he's a PO, one of those special kids. And so he has a chance too to have some crucial outs for us. I'm not going to say big innings because he might just come in and get one out, but he's got a chance to help us as well.
The one outs add up to the big innings. So you tag a couple guys in there over and over again. It makes it nice. I think Drew just teed off and sliced the ball over there in the into the net in the other bay.
Coach, I definitely sliced one into the fake sand bunker at Topgolf, which is not good. I feel like Austin Smith right now.
Just don't fall in the net. Are you on the top shelf? Don't fall in the net.
Coach, if we fall, can we make sure we record this?
Yes.
We got the glasses on, Coach.
Well, don't you get kicked out if you fall?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll just tell them I know Blake Rowland, and they'll let me stay.
No, they have no clue who I am. It's a good thing I'm in a small town because maybe 0.03% of the people in that town have heard of my name.
Yeah, but I bet you get a discount of their wing nuts.
Cole is our nuts connoisseur. He gets all of the discounts there.
That's the spot.
Drew, were you going to ask a question? Is that why you
I was going to ask that last question.
Okay.
Coach Rowland, it's expectation time. And last year, your expectations were not to make too many errors. So we can't wait to hear what you got this year as far as the season rolls around. But we know you get to see us very early at the Shipyard. What are your expectations for this year?
I'm not looking forward to Shipyard because we didn't get a good draw. But no, I will say I listen to your show a lot, and I think it's entertaining. It's always fun to listen to people come on and talk about their teams. But I almost regretted listening to last week when you had David Weathers on from Westside because he went on for 20 minutes about how loaded his team was. And we got to play him 3 times. And so I wrote down here, I'll send you a screenshot. My expectation is that Westside High School is going to compete for a state championship in some capacity with how loaded they sounded. And so now that's all in fun. But he does sound like he has a really good squad. So we know that's going to be a really good 3-game series. But expectations, and goals, we've got to really understand the difference in those. And for us, expectations are internalized. Those are things that don't have to be spoken. It's what you expect to do when you are in the weight room or when you're getting loose. You want to look like you know what you're doing. Goals are more external. You can measure those. And so our expectation is just to be consistent. We don't really have excuses. The guys that are going to be on our team for the majority have been on our team now for 3 years. This is our 3rd year. And so we've got experience. And with experience, you would hope that you can be consistent, meaning you're in a lot of games that you should be in. You don't have a lot of really bad games. You can throw strikes. And the big note that I think Drew will like is one of our expectations is to not get picked off as much because we got picked off a lot at first base against right-handed pitchers. And Augie Garrido, rest in peace, he would fire up and cuss out a little bit when you get picked off at first base. And we did it probably 15 times, I swear to you. We got picked off a lot at first. When we're playing Crescent, we get picked off 3 times in the first 2 innings at first base. On the 3rd time, one of our players went over to our stands and says, every time he gives steal, we get picked off. He's doing it wrong, talking about me. As if I think they think in their mind as a baseball player that when a coach gives steel against a righty, they're giving it to you thinking he's not going to pick off, which you guys know is probably not the case. We're trying to think what count it is. Now with a left-handed pitcher, maybe we're guessing. I just thought that was comical because we got picked off 3 times. We stopped stealing against Crescent, and we probably didn't run as much after that. But, expect consistency. I mean, there's your answer. We just want to be good at what we do. We want to be good at the easy, everyday, simple things. We want to be able to bunt the ball when we need to bunt the ball, and we want to be able to know the signs when the signs are given. And so we don't have excuses that we can make. The past 2 years, it's easy to say, hey, we're young. We'll figure it out. But when you have success, expectations come. And so not every team in the state can say we expect to be playing late in May. That would be a lie. I mean, some teams expect to just have 9 or 10 guys that they can go out and play baseball. We expect to be consistent, and we expect to be in a lot of games, and that comes from experience. And so, we still have to play well. We could go out in football and play a really great team that has a really poor night, like Westside High School is really good in football this year. They could have a terrible night, and we could only lose by 20, right? A great team in baseball can go out and have a bad night, and they're going to lose by 6. And so baseball is a funny sport. You got to be your best every single night. And so we just want to be consistent in what we do.
You almost hit Austin's favorite words from these when somebody talks about, well, we're young, it seems like, and I get it's high school and you are what you are. You got the kids that come through your system, but we always do joke that it seems like almost every team in the state is young and doesn't have this, that, and that. It doesn't matter who they are, but we appreciate now that we're young. At least you did go, well, we're not young anymore. We got guys that have been starting for 3 years. So
that can't be an excuse for us. So, I mean,
yeah.
If we lose, we just lost. We got beat and outplayed. And so that's going to happen. We're not going to go win every single game. That's not realistic, but we just want to be in a lot of games. That's the goal.
Yeah. High school.
Coach, I got one more for you. We're gonna give you a chance to you can brag on yourself, your kids, whoever you want to brag on. I don't care. I remember, I guess it was 3-4 years ago now when y'all started that operation. I know some people know where you are now. I remember y'all's first year you were there. You had the JV only, and you hosted that preseason tournament over there.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into that place on a Friday night. We had just finished the varsity game, and we walked in. Our JV was playing over there, and you had a standing lake around the backstop, and I don't even think y'all had a bullpen yet.
Yeah. And
there was a lot of things happening. And I walked out of there, and I looked at one of my assistant coaches, and I was like, man, I like Blake, but I don't know if he knows what he got himself into. Just know I know what you had to work with when y'all started there. But if you walk into that stadium and the team, I mean, you went from a all JV roster in a facility that needed work to what y'all have now. I mean, from the windscreen to the turf around the thing. I mean, everything y'all have is. You can't tell that y'all just started 2 years ago, 3 years ago. What do you think led most? Who would you give the most credit to as for how that happened? And I know you played a huge hand in that, and your assistant coaches. But what do you think led to y'all being where you are now from where you were when you kicked that thing off 4 years ago?
I think it's definitely got to come. There's vision. I think when you start a new program, I kind of translate it to when I was playing at White Knoll, I was playing under Johnny Thompson and Mark Bonnet. And Mark Bonnet, when he left White Knoll, went and started River Bluff. Right. And so that was my relation to it, was when I leave, wherever I'm going, if I'm fortunate enough and the Lord leads me to start a new program with Fountain Inn, I want to try and model it after something that was successful. And so everything we did wasn't River Bluff, but a lot of things in the back of my mind was, what did they do that led to success? And it's vision. And I didn't do any of it. I hate when people come in here and say, because it's we. And our staff did a really great job of buying into the vision, not just with the facilities, but with the kids. If you watched us play that first year, we probably lost some sleep because it wasn't great baseball. I mean, it really wasn't. We're in a league where you don't get middle school kids unless they can contribute on your varsity, and we didn't have a varsity, and so we were pulling all freshmen. And so, there had to be a vision and what you wanted from a facility standpoint, but there had to be a vision and a hope of what it would be in the future. And so pour in, build relationships, but we had a great staff. Our first year, David Horton came with us from Charleston, and he did a really great job pointing to the kids. Matt Hill was a guy who joined us that was already at Rudolph Gordon School, and Matt was with us for 2 years, and he did a great job pouring into the kids and helping them to understand baseball. And so we were fortunate and blessed with great coaches, and we were fortunate and blessed with great administration that understood that you've got to be able to fundraise and make money to help visions come true. And we have a really great athletic booster club. I mean, they are tremendous. And it's not just for us. They are supportive of every single sport in our school. And that in high school sports is the backbone of athletics. If you can have a good athletic booster club, you have a chance to have success quickly. Now, if we didn't, it might have taken 10 years to get the facilities to look how we wanted to look. Now, our batting cages still aren't done. Our bullpens are less to be desired, but they're functional. But we've had a lot of support, and it definitely isn't me. It's every single person that's a part of the program. But I appreciate you saying that, because I agree. We've heard stories when we hosted that JV tournament. We had guys throwing off of a portable mound in between the bullpens that weren't built yet, and they would say, "This place is a joke." And our answer would be, "Okay, great. Well, this is our first week in existence, and so we'll get there." But definitely, we want our kids to be proud of where they play. We want them to be excited about where they play. And one of those things, talking about expectations, if they are internalized, internally, you want to have pride in your facilities. And so we're fortunate to have those things, and it happened quickly, and we've got a long way to go still.
Coach, we appreciate you hopping on here. We know taking some time out of your busy schedule. You guys are cranking up. I know it's not official time, but your open season now and getting ready to officially crank up here soon. And I know we can stop just talking about you guys have the best hats in high school baseball, but you guys are now got a great product on the field, and we're excited to watch you opening weekend down there at the Shipyard for the PBR Showdown down there. So we're fired up to see you off the board. But thanks for hopping on with us tonight and spreading the word about some Fountain Inn baseball and all you guys have to do. And also thank you for the support of prep baseball in the state. So best of luck, and again, thanks for hopping on.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you in Shipyard.